Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Kimchica and it is almost the end of 2019, which of course means we need to take a look at some of the games that influenced our year the most. This list is more of the 10 indies that influenced me and my year the greatest. So many of these you may have seen on other top indie lists, some of these you may have not, but these are all games that really stuck with me throughout the year, and that I hope that if you haven't gotten a chance to play, that you do take a gander and see if it piques your interest. So let's jump into it. Morning Makeup Madness. I couldn't not include this one, mostly because I stumbled upon it when searching for more info about Consume Me, one of my most anticipated games of 2020. Morning Makeup Madness was a game jam game created with the theme of 10 seconds, and it's all about that lovely morning rush of getting your makeup on. Can you do it? And can you look good? It's harder than it seems. And if you're checking this out, please be sure to check out the demo for Consume Me. It's a poignant game all about the complex relationships that people can have with their bodies and self-image, and it's funny and honest in a way few games are. The Textorcist. The Textorcist puts a whole new level of meaning into the genre bullet hell. You're an excommunicated priest turned private investigator named Ray Bibia, who's charged with exorcising demons using none other than your wits and typing skills. Yep, this is a true test in multitasking, as you'll need to guide Ray by dodging bullets and typing out words to fulfill the sacred incantations before a bullet knocks the Bible out of your hands, which forces you to start from the beginning in extreme cases. This game is quite challenging and frankly not something I would have gravitated towards, except I'm a sucker for typing games. The blend of bullet hell and typing is something I found myself very intrigued by and absolutely loved when I got the hang of it. This is a game that'll challenge you, but if you're into unique combinations of genres, it's one you don't want to miss. Forager. This game represents the potato chips of my top 10 list. What do I mean by this? Well, it fires off all those receptors that'll make your brain happy without a ton of effort needed. It's really more of an active version of an idle game. And I love it. In Forager, your goal is simple. You forage for supplies and continue to grow from a small little island to whatever you'd like to be. As you gain gold, you'll be able to purchase more land to forage from, and you can focus on a variety of foraging styles. Prefer to emphasize farming? Go for it. Rather have a more magically focused playthrough? You can. You just like gold and want to collect all the things? Absolutely. Forager is a game where you can set up and create your own goals. And, like potato chips, this game is addictive and you won't be able to stop with just an hour or so of gameplay, especially if you're a sucker for collecting things in-game, like me. And the catchy soundtrack and adorable pixel art will keep your eyes and ears happy while you play. Oh, and be sure, if you play, to keep an eye out for those wholesome beats. They are the best part of the entire game. Baba Is You. A game about breaking the rules of the game? Yep, basically. Baba Is You is about a little creature named Baba who must navigate to create or break apart sentences. These sentences dictate the rules of each puzzle, the rules of the game, what Baba can do, cannot do, as well as the winning and losing conditions. As long as Baba does not die or render itself obsolete by moving some words incorrectly, you'll be golden. Fortunately, you're able to rewind and experiment, and as a result, learn a little bit about game design and logic. This game does an incredible job of pacing, and the puzzles are built in a way that allows you to feel like you're always learning. And even if you're not quite able to figure out the puzzle, it'll always feel like, and truly generally will be, just one step away from being solved, which makes it extremely satisfying when you finally figure it out. Hypnospace Outlaw. From the mind behind Dropsy, an incredible point-and-click adventure about a friendly clown, is Hypnospace Outlaw. In this blast from the past, you've been enlisted as an enforcer, a volunteer who's basically tasked with helping keep Hypnospace a great place for people to surf. This is its own OS and intranet, with so many glorious websites to find, explore, and perhaps sleuth and report. If you stick with it, there is a mystery to solve and a story that'll unfold, but who am I kidding? If you're like me, you'll spend a good 80% of your time just really excited that you have a cute little desktop hamster named Angel. Kind Words. A game about writing kind letters. Yep, this title is everything I am currently about. It's soft lo-fi music to relax to, really adorable isometric visuals, stickers to collect, and quite possibly the kindest community I've interacted with in games ever. In Kind Words, you're provided with a place to write your thoughts and send them out into the world, as well as receive those thoughts from other people and provide them with kindness of your own. Does it feel weird and kind of vulnerable? Yes. Is it pushing the boundaries of what a game technically could be? Absolutely. I'm impressed with the community and how it's maintained kindness and a feeling of intimacy, even despite the game starting to become more and more popular. I look forward to how the community of Kind Words expands in the future and how kindness as a mechanic continues to be explored. Untitled Goose Game. Honk honk! 'Tis the Goose Game, another indie that is transcending indie Game of the Year lists and is even getting featured in non-gaming circles. This game made me realize just how fun it can be to be a rude goose in a cozy little village, and I could go on for days and wax poetic about how each of the missions are adorably mischievous and fun, how the visual storytelling made the world seem much more alive and rich, and how the game provides players with a litany of ways to achieve their goals of annoying all the humans around them. But really, my favorite part of the game was walking around the world, honking away, letting everyone know that I was proud of the rude goose I was becoming. Children of Morta. Children of Morta is one of those games that convinced me to continue shifting my opinions about a genre. Yes, roguelites and roguelikes. I've been learning to love them this year, and Children of Morta is one of the games that played a huge part in that. This game is dear to my heart because it's about the love and support a family provides one another through a trying time, which is highly relatable, whether it's through your biological or your chosen family. And while the Bergson's trials are much more fantastical than what we experience normally, they're protecting the sacred Mount Morta from impending doom, the heart and the stories of these family members and the vignettes that show up every time you finish a run is what kept me persevering even when the going got tough. And of course, the going got tough. The boss battles absolutely require you to understand the different ways each family member plays and to utilize them effectively against each specific type of enemy. And if you're like me and you're not quite sure about being into the repetitive nature of roguelikes or roguelites, do try Children of Morta. The one thing that made it truly special is that it does provide you with story and narrative that allows you to continue feeling like you progress, even though you may die a lot while learning how to survive.
Us all.
Astrologaster. In Astrologaster, a Shakespearean medical comedy, a plague has swept through the capital, and you, as the doctor of astrology and physic, must employ your 100% tested methods of healing upon the citizens in need of a cure. Well, 100% may be a stretch, and you may not exactly have your medical license yet, but those are just minor details, right? You'll choose astrological interpretations to advise patients and solve their problems with your credible wit and advice. Hopefully, if you do well, you'll be able to convince your patients to write you letters of recommendation to eventually get that famed medical license on your wall. Astrologaster is fantastically written and is one of the funniest games of the year.
Medical care I provide.
Anodyne 2: Return to Dust. If you took PS2 visuals and mixed it with Magic School Bus meets fantasy cleanup gameplay, just hear me out, you've got Anodyne 2: Return to Dust, which is one of the most intriguing games of the year. Basically, you're a nano-cleaner named Nova, someone who must shrink to a microscopic size and help clean up dust infecting those around you. What I love about this game is that it mixes nostalgic graphics with a variety of mechanics in a really ingenious way. In the 3D overworld, you'll find yourself exploring and jumping around a la 90s platformers, and once you're transported into the body of the host you need to clean up via an immensely satisfying rhythm minigame, the 2D pixel art dungeons are full of action and just really good brain teasers. The mashup is satisfying and very well executed. And not only that, but the writing is both cynical and heartwarming, with lots of jokes about video games themselves that those familiar with common game practices, like darkening screens during an inner monologue, for example, will absolutely be able to appreciate. Sayonara Wild Hearts. First off, I still listen to the Sayonara Wild Hearts soundtrack nearly every day. This is how incredible the music is. If nothing else, if you're a fan of pop and electronic music, please have a listen to the soundtrack. But Sayonara Wild Hearts is one of my top games of the year because of more than just its incredible soundtrack. It was an experience that melded video game mechanics, visual art, music, and story into one beautiful package that really makes it one of the most memorable experiences of the year. As you journey through Sayonara Wild Hearts, you'll race a motorcycle through flashy pop landscapes, navigating a woman's journey through a broken heart. This is a fast-paced game that propels you through levels, so the one kicker is if you're not as proficient or if you're not into this kind of gameplay, the enjoyability of the soundtrack does diminish because you might continuously get hit and have to jump back in, which does interrupt the flow. While there are some options to mitigate this, I could see it getting frustrating for players who may not be as proficient at the Sonic-esque mechanics of the game. But, that being said, this made it into my list because it was one of the highlights of my year. It's one of those games that'll make your jaw drop as you play, and honestly is an experience that completely takes advantage of all the points of engagement a video game has to offer compared to other mediums. There's also one level in it, the Snap level, if you've ever played, that is absolutely brilliant, and the first time I experienced it gave me goosebumps. It was that good. A Short Hike. This game has appeared on quite a few indie and non-indie game-focused Game of the Year lists, and for very good reason. Charming, whimsical, and accessible to both folks who are familiar with games as well as people who may not be as proficient, A Short Hike is quite simple with its story. You're out camping with your auntie and you have to get cell reception. The only place to get it is just a short hike up to the summit of Hawk Peak Provincial Park, and thus your journey to reconnect with the real world begins. And what a journey. While as a player, your initial instinct may be just to focus on the end goal and climb up the hike as quickly as possible, you'll learn that it's not quite able to happen. You'll need the help of some golden feathers. It is with this realization that the true magic of this game emerges. As you gather feathers and diverge from your path, you'll find yourself chatting with fellow campers, offering up a helping hand, joining in a fun game of what kind of is like beach ball, or even just seeing what the island inhabitants are up to. And in doing so, you'll likely find yourself losing track of what your initial goal even was. Exploration isn't just limited to walking. As Claire the bird, you'll be able to swim and glide along, which feels incredibly freeing and relaxing, especially when combined with the beautifully shifting music. This is a game that you'll want to spend time in. The ending of A Short Hike offers an unexpected and poignant twist that allows us to reflect on the role of technology in our lives in a much more subtle way than technology bad, nature good. And this resonated with me long after I finished the game. So those were the 10 indie games that really impacted me this year. The ones that stuck out to me, that I thought about long after I played them, and the ones that I probably, if I talked to you in real life, told you about to encourage you to play. So please be sure to let me know what you think in the comments below. Have you played all of these? Are there any that maybe didn't crop up on your radar that you're excited to try? And of course, know that this list isn't comprehensive. There were many more games that I played that I did not include on this list that I absolutely adored. So if you have a favorite game, let me know in the comments below, and perhaps I'll join you in gushing over it and getting excited about it. But yeah, it's impossible to pick just 10 games at this point. Really, it's such an arbitrary number, and it's just to make sure the video doesn't go on for eternity, because otherwise it would. And finally, if you enjoy this channel, if you enjoy what I do in featuring indie games, showcasing portions of the gameplay or full gameplay, please follow this channel or find me on twitch.tv/Kimchica. I've been on a mini holiday hiatus through Thanksgiving in December just because it gets very wonky with my show schedule and work, and streaming ends up not being able to happen because of rehearsal time. But I will be back in the new year, again Tuesdays and Wednesdays at 8:30 p.m. Pacific time, streaming indie games and relaxing with y'all. So I'd love to see your face if you would like to join us. That's it for today. I will see you in the next video, and until then, hope you're having a wonderful day or night and that you're finding lots of indie games to play. See you next time.